Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I am removing the cocoons that have hatched. These are them, the babies, to the wall over here, which is green. And then I'm gonna harvest the breeders here and get more cocoons out and set those cocoons up here on the heat mats to hatch. So these are gonna be here for about, I would say, 8 weeks. They're hatched, but we need to start feeding them and getting some weight on them. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm doing this with holding one hand because, as you all know, one of my tripods is like, I don't know. Okay, so we managed to temporarily fix one of my tripods. So let's get this going. So I'm getting a tray from the wall where they grow out over there where I just showed you. And now I'm getting one of the bins from the cocoons. Now these babies have hatched. I'll show you what I've been keeping the thermostat on. It's a little higher because the thermostat is, the heat pad is outside the bin, not on the surface of it. And I know some people do that, and I've done it, but I don't know. I just don't feel comfortable doing that right now. I always say, trust your instincts. They never fail you. So as I'm doing this, man, I could see the little guys, little babies everywhere. Look at that little one. Look. He's so little. I love them. I love everything in a baby form. So I'm going to put this back on the wall with the heat pad. And let me bring it closer. Yeah, they're in here. They're so little though that sometimes you miss them. Okay, let's see if I could show you this little one. Maybe if I put him here. I mean, look how little that little thing is. So I gently just boop, pop them back down. There you go. I'm very gentle with my worms because I just don't want to hurt them. When I do this, it's almost like I give them like a little massage. So this still has good moisture, but since it's gonna go up on the wall here and there's no heat pad, I'm gonna still wet them anyway. So I have my sprayer here, which someone asked me about, and I believe I linked it in your comment, in your question. Yeah. So this is the best thing I've ever purchased on Amazon. It holds almost 4 gallons, and I love it. So now I get a little bit of chow, just a little, get them going. I give them back their paper because it's nice and soaked, and in between here there are also babies, and then I give them back their plastic. And then this one goes up on the wall to grow up and hopefully go live with you guys. And then the process just keeps going. And that's how you rotate the cocoons. So I've done 3. I'm gonna get another one. Today I'm doing 9 cocoons, and I'm gonna do 6 adult breeder trays. So the Vivo Sun is working well. Those are the heat pads I use. And I could tell when there are babies in here because they start to eat the paper. And not surprising. They love it. Especially these boxes. They got like that glue. So I also take the time now to check for anything that might be going wrong. I have had bins go anaerobic, you know. I mean, it happens to everybody. Nothing really that you could blame yourself about. But you just have to just realize that something went wrong and then do everything you can to like find a solution, you know? So yeah, I see little babies here. They're so cute, my gosh. This is actually very wet, so I'm not gonna wet this one. I'm just gonna give them their chow. So if you guys don't feel like making chow, I have it available on my website. But I know a lot of you do. And that's awesome. But I know some people don't have the space or the time to buy all the ingredients and then, you know, have a machine like mine to blend it up. So after I'm done doing these, then I'll date everything. I ripped the old dates off and I put everything brand new. So today I'm watching a Bigfoot documentary. And let me tell you guys, some of these trays, when they get like sopping wet, they do get a little heavy. That's why I don't fill them up all the way. Plus, breeder worms and cocoons, they don't need depth. Like red wigglers, they don't. Boy, this one's loaded. Yeah, they don't need that depth, so you don't have to worry about it. And it's less back-breaking for you, you know? Yeah, this one has a lot, and they're growing fast. So sometimes when I have an overabundance of babies, let me bring you closer this way and see if I could get more light. So there's a big light here. Without disturbing this thing too much. Yeah, you could probably see better there. Yeah, when I have an overabundance of babies, like a lot of them, and I want them to grow big, I will divide this. I'll take this and maybe divide it in half. And honestly, this one does have a lot. I mean, look. So I'm gonna take half of this and just put it in another bin. And you know, that's the biggest problem that worm farmers have, is space. We all have the space problem. But I do have one of these bins that has less in it. So I'll take that. And I'll just supplement that bin. Yes, space is our biggest problem. Because they grow, you know. But that's all right. We make it work. There. That should do it. People have asked me, why don't I measure anything? You know, I don't know. I just, when I was growing up, I told you why my mom taught me to cook, right? So I was a cook in a jail that was run more like a prison. I've learned to cook very young. I learned to cook when I was 10. And I was such, believe it or not, I was such a rotten child that my mom taught me to cook because she said that that would be the only way I would catch a spouse. What does that tell you about my behavior? I was the youngest, the only girl. You know, I had brothers, and well, they spoiled me rotten. But you know, I am eternally grateful to my mom for teaching me to cook because it's an important skill to have. So when I had my kids, all four of them, my sons, you know, I taught them to cook and clean and how to do everything because I told them, you know, you're going to live on your own one day and you just can't survive on fast food. You're just not going to. So I taught everyone to cook. And I thought that'd bring you the giggle for today. But I outgrew all that behavior later on in life, you know. Even as a teen, I had a lot of fun as a teenager. So now I'm a worm farmer and I love it. So let's see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 bins to go. So you see, this is like the most time consuming part of in here, besides cleaning and then having to water and feed them. But if you stay on top of things, it's okay. And it really, you get in like your little routine. Now, if you neglect this and then you have to come down and do it all at once, yeah, you're gonna be overwhelmed, and then you'll end up hating it, and that's not a good thing. This one's really juicy. So luckily I'm working in the basement today because, guys, my air conditioner in my house went out. So Joe's working on getting that fixed. But today is Sunday. Today's my worm day. Regardless of what's happening in my life, I still have to do my job. Because these are livestock, like if you have a farm, so I have to take care of my babies. There are so many babies, guys. They are so sweet. I love them. Oh my gosh. And I know I'm not the only worm person out there that's crazy about worm babies. Look at that. Sometimes they are so little that you can easily confuse them with pot worms. But I'm going to tell you, the difference is a little pot worm. If I see one, I'll show you, but they usually come with like a lot of moisture. A little pot worm will be completely white, and a baby worm, no matter how little, they're going to be transparent pretty much, but they'll always have that little hue of pink. And that's how you know the difference. And I learned that through just my years of doing this, you know, and seeing all kinds of different things. There we go. You see, even on the paper, there's like little worms. See that one right there? So I gently put him back so he can just do his paper thing, which he loves. See, this paper boxes, when they get wet, they get this slimy stuff on them, which is like the glue. And the worms, it's like a glucose. The worms absolutely love it. To them, it's like candy. Remember I told you worms have like a sweet tooth? Well, they love that stuff. So this is the last one I'm going to do. I'm going to take a little break, and then I'm going to bring you back when I do the breeders. Okay, so I took the cocoons out of these guys here, 9, and I moved them to these 9. Now the next time I rotate these bins, I'll put the rest down here, another 9. So now I'm going to get the breeder bins. So now I'm going to start with these 2, and I work my way down. So if you haven't pressed that subscribe button yet, you want to support my wormery, go ahead and do so. And find my other channel, The Composting Worm Lady, where I do all worm stuff there too. And people ask me why I have 2 channels. Well, I also breed worms in towers and containers, like mostly towers, and I like to show that. But besides that, I don't know. I mean, once that gets monetized, the income will completely come into here, and I need the help. I'm gonna be honest. All right, so I had given these guys some lettuce, and you can see the lettuce is pretty much gone, but look how gorgeous they are. So they need to be harvested for cocoons, and when it's this wet, I never suggest doing it through a sifter, guys. you're gonna have major problems. Like, it's gonna get clogged. I've done it all, and I've also created every mistake there is to do, and this is one of them if I were to do this. So I just move it over like this. I'm gonna do the light rotation here, the light sifting. I just move it over. They're all here. And I just give them a chance for them to go down. So while I wait for them to go down, I do other things that need to be done in here. And then sometimes I'll take 2 breeder bins and do them at the same time. I have done that. But just for this video for you to see, I'm just gonna like focus here. So yeah, they've been eating the lettuce. They love it. So see, because I have a piece of lettuce, I just toss it aside. And I do give my breeder worms food scraps besides worm chow, because I think the diversity in their diet is good for them. And wait till you see when the fall comes with the leaves. Oh my gosh. And I'll show you when that time comes how to prepare the leaves, because you don't just take leaves from your yard and just dump them in here. I mean, you can try that, but it might cause you problems with insects and things like that. So when that time comes, I'll teach you how to do that. So let's give these guys a chance to go down. And I think I'm gonna sweep in here a little because it's like really bad. So basically when I go to harvest, I like to do it with both hands. I just like to go like this. I make sure there are no adult worms there, and I just put them in the tub that's gonna go up here on the heat mat. And once in a while you will get a worm, an adult worm, and you just, like this one, see? I just put them here in the corner so they start going down, and you pick them out. You're not gonna ever always get every single worm. I mean, you're not. If you only have to do 1 bin and you want to try that, okay. But when you have as many bins as I have or more, it's going to be very time consuming. And this part, I just enjoy it. I get to see what they're doing. I get to see the babies, if they're hatched. I just get to see what's going on up close in their world, you know? And thank God the basement is nice and cool for me to work in. So, but you know, that too shall pass. I don't worry about it. I try to live my days joyfully. I try. I'm not perfect, but I try. So this is what we're doing. And then this bin with the cocoons in it will go on the heat mat with a piece of cardboard soaked in water and plastic wrap over it, you know, the bubble wrap. And then we'll date it, and in about a month and a half, more or less, they'll start hatching, and then they'll move to that wall. So basically, by the time I'm done with this 3 rotation, the 21-day rotation, by the time I get back to these, those babies should have hatched, and then it's time to move. And that's how this thing functions. And I did not learn this overnight. It took me a while. And it took me a while of, you see, the lettuce, I'm just gonna put it there. Just to figure out, try, and if it doesn't succeed, then you find a different way to do it. And that's why it takes so long to learn, especially when no one out there will really tell you how. But that's why I'm here for you all. So I tell you as I go. And when I make mistakes, I also tell you. Because hopefully I can avoid you doing that. But you know, things happen, and that's all right. Just gotta take it one step at a time. The lucky thing is red wigglers are, they're very forgiving. They really are. And they're incredible creatures. I'm seeing a lot of cocoons in here. So they're definitely having babies. I believe As far as I know, I'm not sure. Arizona Worm Farm does it the same way. They put these trays on the table and do like light method. But they have their table set up with lights and stuff. Hopefully one day I'll get to that level. Only because it just looks so convenient, you know? It just looks like fast and ready to go, so. But we all have to start somewhere, right? So I'm really loving that virtual reality gaming thing I'm doing. If any of you play Supernatural on virtual reality on a Meta Quest 2, let me know, and I'll give you my username on there, like my tag, so you could find me and maybe we could battle each other. That'd be fun. All right. So we're gonna keep going with this. So I've gotten to the bottom of this breeder bin and look at them. That is incredible. So look guys, I got to the bottom of this breeder bin. So now what I can do is I have a choice. I'm going to reset this bin obviously, but I can keep this whole bundle here, or I could divide this in half and make another giant breeder bin. And that's exactly what I'm going to do, because the blue wall over there, I'm trying to build it up. So that's what we're going to do here today. So I just put them in a temporary hold, at least the ones that I'm going to separate. I take a cup of some kind. I put them in a temporary thing. Now the bedding that's going to go in here is horse manure, because I have it, but it's been pre-composted. So I just start mixing it in, worms and everything. I've never done it any other way. So while these guys wait here, I do take some of the bedding that they were in and put it a little there so they can go down and hide. So they're not so exposed. I mean, it's not going to hurt them, but I don't want to do that to them. So I'm going to set this one up. So I've been harvesting this one at the same time. So I could kill two birds with one stone, you know. So I'm going to just separate their lettuce. And here they are. Look, guys. A worm meatloaf. They're so cute. I mean, I like playing with them a little before I put them back, but I know that it upsets them, so I get the ball rolling here. Sorry, guys. So I add to this bin any type of manure I have. If I don't have manure, I don't use it. I don't have it all the time, and that's okay. You don't have to use it. I add peat moss. I make sure the peat moss is really wet though, because peat moss, it won't absorb water on its own. It's the weirdest thing. You could leave peat moss in a bucket with water and I guarantee you it'll float to the surface and the water will be underneath. So you kind of got to like massage it in. I add dolomite lime to calm down the acidity in the peat moss. And I add some kind of grit, either play sand or oyster shell. I've added shredded boxes, cardboard, they like that. And the shredded leaves in the fall. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to do that with you. The blackest castings I've ever gotten, guys, is feeding leaves. And I have fed everything under the sun in these 21 years. Leaves is the champion. It just is. So I'm going to have to wet this anyway. So let me just put that on them. They can just start chilling down here. And this dry thing on them, you know, a few minutes, it's not gonna hurt them. They'll be okay. They'll be all right. Mama take care of them. So luckily I made a broccoli bow tie pasta dish yesterday, so today I don't have to worry about like actual cooking. I can just reheat it. People have asked me, how do I do it all and keep a job outside the house? I don't know. I just do what I can every day, and if it's not perfect, it's not. But I don't know. I guess I find joy in doing that. That's what it is. So see, you got to mix it. So when you get a starter mix from me, you can't just go like that and walk away. You got to like mix it in, because if you can see, when I go like this, it's still dry underneath. And gently, you don't have to squeeze them, you know, because they're, well, they're gentle. They're gentle, soft creatures. So I just slowly... Now this water I'm spraying with here is mosquito dunk water, so that I can control the flying insects. And how much moisture? Breeders like it really wet. It gets them happy. It gets them excited. We're talking 80% moisture, but not standing water. Like this. If there's sort of stand down there, I would add more bedding just to absorb it. You see, look, they're gonna be like really happy in here. And you only need about 2 or 3 inches. You don't need more. You can if you want to, but when you start working a wall like this, you're gonna quickly see that it gets really heavy. Now, I do add pine shavings also. I think Pachamama does also. And I add them when I have them. So I did have to go to Tractor Supply to get some. So I'm going to get some of that. And I recently started using this product. It's pine shavings, like pine, but in pellets. And I love it. And when they get wet, they break apart. And it creates air pockets in here, which provides oxygen for such a wet environment, you know, because when you have a wet environment and it's like dense packed down, that's when you can run into problems. So I'm gonna add a few more. They'll eventually break up and start absorbing the water. And I'm really happy with those little pellet things. Not too bad. I like them. You know, I try different things, and I try and see what my worms like, and I can tell by their behavior. One time I put, I don't know what it was, this was years ago, something in the bin, and man, they all started running, and I knew it was something that I did that wasn't good. So if I ever remember what it is, I'll tell you. So I didn't use that again, because I knew that it was a big no-no. So now that they're set up, I'll give them their chow. And remember, the dolomite and all of that was pre-mixed into this, because I already pre-mixed it a week ahead and compost. So they have that. I'll give them some newspaper, because I know that they love eating newspaper. And I'll wet it down. I know they like it. There we go. Now I cover it with their plastic, and then I put it back on the wall. And then I just do the next one. And then I do this every Sunday. Now the blue wall back here, they're not full of breeders yet, but slowly I'll start separating, and then I'll increase it. So that's how this thing works. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. As usual, I hope you learned something. And if you have any questions, just reach out. If you want to subscribe to both my channels, support me in this. I greatly appreciate it, and I thank you all so much, because I know I have a lot of followers and I get so many nice comments from people. Guys, you have no idea. Sometimes I might be having a bad day and I read a comment and it's like, oh my gosh, I needed to hear that. Thank you. So I appreciate you all. Anyway, I will see you next time. Take care.